Mr. Harper, last time you were before this committee, you recognized that, quote, Hispanic hiring is a weakness for the agency, that we are underperforming there, and we are going to be working on that to bring more people in, close quote. How has the NCUA addressed this weakness in Hispanic hiring?
So first of all, I wasn't able to say it at the time, but I'm now able to say that our new head of the Office of Minority and Women Inclusion is somebody of Hispanic descent. In addition to that, the board, as part of its mid-session budget, just authorized two things. One is to look at culture and diversity and how we do the hiring process to address the very issue of improving hiring. The second thing that we have done is a pay equity report that we have funded that we're going to be taking a look at to make sure that people are getting what they earned and that there are not disparities based on race, sex, or other factors.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate pay equity. That cuts across many lines, and it's nice to have a culture diversity engagement. I am looking forward to see the individual who you say was hired. But this is not a new issue for the NCUA. The agency's 2021 Office of Minority and Women Inclusion report found that, quote, NCUA's Hispanic Latino population continues to be an underrepresented group as compared to the civilian labor force. Knowing this, I will hope you would have a plan to increase Hispanic hiring. It is the largest minority in the country as of the last census. It has a $1.7 trillion domestic marketplace. I don't understand how we serve that universe when we are woefully underrepresented with it. So if you are confirmed as chairman, and it's an open question in my mind, you'll have the power to actually diversify the senior staff. And that's something that I would be looking forward to seeing a commitment on.
And Senator, first of all, if confirmed for a full term, you had to have my full commitment. My first hiring decision that I made when I came onto the NCUA board was to hire Catherine Galicia, who is of Hispanic heritage. Mm-hmm. I knew that would be an important issue. She was qualified, she had the skills, the knowledge, and having worked here in Washington, D.C., you have my full commitment that, if confirmed, I will work to ramp up our Hispanic hiring to the extent that we can find and identify issues. One issue that we have found is that because so many of our jobs are examiners and they are on the road quite often, that is often something that Hispanic populations don't necessarily want to be on the road as much. We are re-engineering the way in which we do work, and I'm hopeful that we'll be more on a virtual basis that will help to solve that problem.
Thank you. Mr. Pryor, Mr. Herrnstadt, the most recent EXIM competitiveness report noted that only 14.6% of EXIM's direct small business support went to minority and women-owned businesses. There's a mountain of evidence that these businesses were among the hardest hit by the pandemic, so it's critical that they have access to the tools and assistance to remain competitive. What would you do, if confirmed, to improve the accessibility of EXIM services for minority and women-owned businesses?
Senator Menendez, nice to see you again. Thank you for that question. Minority and women-owned businesses play an important role for the bank, and there's a team dedicated to support outreach efforts. In fact, once the bank had reopened and we had a board quorum again, I and Chairman Reed and Spencer Backus spent much of our time helping with outreach efforts and business development efforts to minority and women-owned businesses and other small businesses around the country, vet-owned, and those with disabilities as well. As our charter dictates, we are trying to lean in as best we can. I would commit to you that we will continue to do this were I to be confirmed. Outreach is paramount to our success in supporting small businesses of all kinds, and I would be happy to work with you and your state and other states to increase those efforts so that more small businesses are educated about how EXIM can help them de-risk their exports.
Would you like to opine, Mr. Herrnstadt?
Yes, thank you very much, Senator. I deeply share with you your commitment to equality, equal opportunity, inclusion, accessibility, and diversity. On that, if confirmed, I very much look forward to working with you and others from this committee elsewhere, as well as the Export-Import Bank staff, to see how things can be done better, how things can be improved to address this incredibly important issue.
Well, I appreciate those answers. I'll just make an overall comment for all of this panel and for others. You know, the commitment to diversity starts at the very top. If there isn't a clear message from the top that others in your overall domain will be judged in part by how they create a diverse workforce, it'll never happen. So all the good intentions in the world won't ultimately realize in making a difference. So I hope that you take that to heart. I have other questions which I'll submit to the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Menendez.